host, J.O. Benjamin, and I'm so excited to have our special guest here today, Victor Love. I mean, Victor Love, really, I'm your special guest because I'm in your space.
No, that's no big deal. No.
You sure?
No, I'm happy to have you here. And I'm happy for what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
It's been really nice watching you.
Beautiful. I mean, let's talk about it. Let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Where is here?
Here is Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And what we're the Evolve Atlanta Acting Studio. When I was an actor living in California and New York, I really came into a lot of success and a lot of notoriety.
Yeah.
But behind that notoriety, there was a lifestyle that I wasn't ready for.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready that every time I went out, it had to be looking a certain way or behaving a certain way. The image that people wanted to paint of me left me feeling empty inside, left me feeling inauthentic. So I went through some changes. I got involved in what I thought Hollywood and New York was about. And that means a lot of substances and ways of just healing the pain that we accumulate as artists. When I came through that, I made a decision that I was going to make sure that other people never had to go through what I went through. I had the best training. I worked with several amazing people. My crew, when I came up, was Wesley Snipes and Angela Bassett, and those were the people that were sitting in my apartment, and we would dream of what it would be like. When I got to it, I realized that there's a life behind the artist, and that the artist has to create a life based on authenticity. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, after school, before the Broadway stuff, before Native Son, which was 40 years ago with Oprah Winfrey, before all that, there was a dream.
I love how you just dropped those innuendos in it with Oprah Winfrey, after that.
Wait, I can drop some more later. but I mean, I think I say that because a lot of us have opportunities that we don't know are opportunities at the time. Well, when I came through the trials that I had, a working actor all the time, home in LA, and the inside of me was so empty, I decided to come to Atlanta. My parents live here. And I decided I would do whatever it took to find my soul again. And I began waiting tables, and I began doing the things that people do, not that people who want to be celebrities do.
Yeah.
And while I was waiting tables, Raven from Tyler Perry came in one day and noticed me and said, "What are you doing?" So she brought me into their world. Somebody else from Fox News saw me and says, "What are you doing?" And I said, I'm living. And from that, someone offered me a teaching job. They said, "Could you do an 8-week course here in Atlanta?" And I was like, cool. Because if God, my understanding of God, had not wanted me to act anymore, I wasn't going to do it. And that was all I really thought I knew. So I went on the Fox morning show and began teaching this group of kids, kids like all of us.
Yes.
And when it was finished, they asked me would I stay on, and that was 11 years ago. So Evolve is my name backwards. It's V-Love backwards.
Okay.
And what it is a place where you can safely learn how to live as an artist and how to work as an actor. How to get the tools necessary, not just like how do I look and how do I speak and that kind of stuff, but there's some inner tools, there's some inner strength that an actor has to develop. And I'm Black. Did you notice?
I had to squint really hard.
See, girl, you need some glasses.
I need some notes.
And there weren't a lot of Black teachers in the city that I knew of at the time who were catering to what we need as African American people. We have gifts. We have, I want to call it magic. We have ancestors. We have survived this long, not because we have survived, but because there's something that we're supposed to do. And there's some knowledge that we bring to our work. And I thought, I want to celebrate my grandparents. I want to celebrate the artists who never made a name because society, at least the society here, didn't think they were worthy.
Yeah.
So I try to create a space where the actors learn all the tools necessary to be authentic, to be real, to move people.
Yeah.
I wanted to create a space where being African American wasn't, or African anything, wasn't the unusual, the spot in the class. I was trying to create something where whoever I am, inside of me, that's what I'm supposed to share. I ain't supposed to share what somebody else says and what they say is good.
Yeah.
And it has led me to a place where I'm acting again, but I don't do the acting because I want to as much as I do the teaching because I love it.
Yes.
That was a lot of talking.
But that was beautiful. Hey, I'm over here with my student hat on, like, I hope somebody is taking notes for me, trying to figure it out. And so where are you from? I heard you're from the Carolinas. So
don't listen to half the stuff you hear, okay?
Okay.
I was born in North Carolina.
Okay.
And my dad was a Marine, and he met my mama here in Atlanta. She was a Grady nurse. And it was love at first sight. He says she was the woman who he knew would bring forth the son that he'd always dreamed of. And then I came along. And then he had 3 others. So one of them, I hope, turned out to be it.
Yeah.
Then my mom and dad and I moved to California.
Okay.
And I grew up in California, went to private schools,
Yeah.
Always the spec. I didn't know whether half the jobs I got was because I was talented or because it was a tokenism type thing. And at that time, you had to really be more than a normal kid had to be. Had to learn how to speak the way other people spoke. Oh, heck yeah.
I'm from Atlanta, so all my words just run together.
I've noticed that.
Hey, it's Live Feedback. It's Live Feedback. I ain't mad at it. It's a no.
I'm messing with you. You know what I'm saying? I would move to Atlanta if people were like they were where I came from.
Yeah.
I hope you know I'm kidding, right?
Yeah, it's live feedback. It's live feedback.
Okay, cool.
And there you have it, folks. That is how you take criticism on camera. Thick skin out here.
I think one of the things that is crazy about my life is I used to try to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
I used to like if you think of a Denzel as a color, you see, I was trying to think, how do I get that color? And then one day it just dawned on me, I got my own color.
Yeah.
You see, and these are just crazy things. But what I'm trying to get to is we moved to California and I wanted to be known for being talented.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be known because I was the pretty face of the moment or because of any other stuff. I don't know what that's all about, but that's where I was. And so I trained. I trained with Bill Esper. He was a very, very well-known teacher in New York. He passed recently. I trained with Ivana Chubbuck. She has all these students, Halle Berry and all these people that, I trained with her. I did classical training, to do Shakespeare and that kind of thing.
Why was that important to kind of diversify the training you were receiving?
Well, see, the history of great actors used to always include classical work.
Okay.
So they would say that there was a guy named Olivier, and he was the best. And what they judge the best on classical work or whatever. Like if you're a painter, from what I understand, the crucifixion is something that all great painters need to paint. And there was this book called My Name is Asher Lev. And at the beginning of the book, it says, I am Asher Lev, the Notorious. He was Jewish and he painted a crucifixion, which was totally against what his religious upbringing was. But he wanted to be great and he wanted to challenge himself. So as a kid, I had these amazing ideas that I want to be one of the best, you see, and to be one of the best at that time, it meant I had to compete with the James Earl Joneses, and I had to compete with these men, white, black, yellow, red, who could speak the speech. So I took those classes. I was not prepared for the classes. And
what does that mean? Because I know some of these students probably feel unprepared, but what does it mean to be unprepared?
That's a great question. Unprepared for me meant having the confidence in the fact that I could do it. Like the first time I was playing baseball, I knew how to hold the bat, but there's a technique. And so I was nervous. I wouldn't want my dad or the other people to go, he don't know what he's doing. But there has to be that time where you have that kind of attention paid to you. And the other kids, a lot of them had been doing theater all their lives. I ran track, I played basketball, I was in student government. I was those kind of things. I wasn't, an actor.
Yeah.
I did sneak into the acting classes once in a while, because, it just wasn't like cool.
Yeah.
I would sneak in there and be looking and thinking, God, I want that.
Yeah.
So when I got to college, I went to LA City College at first. The director of the school said, I think you're talented. He says, but we have to give you some speech work. And I said, why? He said, because you sound like a middle-class Afro at the time, Afro-American. And I was like, well, I am a middle-class Afro-American. He said, yeah, but a time may come where you might want to play a Russian peasant, or a time may come where you might want to play a French lord. And he says, and so we want to expand all of that. And at the time I was like, no, I want to be on Good Times. I want to be with JJ. But I went to school, and for my graduating play, I played a Russian peasant. I was able to do that. Black Russian, but I was, a Russian peasant.
I was like, okay, that's interesting. I'm like, maybe he is black, maybe he's not black.
No, come on. So that's. I don't know how I got on that.
Yeah, talk about how you challenged yourself to take those roles that were outside of your normal, right?
But being in school, and what we do here at the school is that it's like a gym. Now, there's certain parts of the physical body that we carry, right? Yeah. I might have some great biceps and have skinny legs. I might have whatever, But you look fine. You ain't got no problems.
Thank you. I heard that, right? Victor Love said it.
Yeah, I did say it. And if you don't got a problem with it, you blind, which is not a problem, but you don't.
Cut that. We cut that. Yep.
Okay, anyway. So you work on the muscles that need working on. Yeah. You don't keep going in there and working on these biceps. There was this article, man, where this dude had one of these big old biceps, and he had injected his arms, like, women ingest their breasts, and men do too nowadays, but, injected their arms, and he was like walking around like this. The man ain't got no body. He didn't have nothing else.
Little legs.
Nothing. And he didn't even do it the right way. He just put it on. A lot of actors will do the same thing. They'll play roles that they think they look good in.
Yeah.
They will play roles they think that suit them. But the thing about being a real actor is that you separate the story from the need. So the need to love is a thing that we would play. We wouldn't play who I'm loving. The script takes care of all of that. So my job, and one of the gifts that acting has taught me, is that we all share a common way of looking at the world. There's a limited number of emotions. There's a limited number of needs, but we put them all together like a cocktail, and it comes up with a very special drink, and that drink is you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to learn to accept me, all the darkness, all the, I was a weird kid. No, really, you ask any of the guys in the neighborhood, I was just weird, but I was me, and that was cool.
Yeah.
And
define weird then.
Weird is unique. It's a unique way that you may, that a thing may be, that is outside of what we call normal. Yeah. You see, like if I had just accepted that I was weird when I was 21, I probably, wouldn't be sitting here. I probably would be, I don't know where I'd be. Someplace really wonderful. This is wonderful. But my friends, like the Lorraine Toussaints and the Bing Rames, they accepted that they were weird, that they were different. They accepted that, and they used it in their work, where I was so busy trying to conform to the idea that I had of who I should be and how I should look, you see? So I think that actors who go through a really good training program, and life is also a training program, you get confidence. You begin to know who you are. And one of the most attractive things about any actor is his self-assurance. It's his confidence. It's that when he talks to you, you know that he's telling you the truth. What happened?
I don't know, that was so beautiful.
No, it wasn't.
I think I just cried, yo.
Oh.
That was beautiful.
I do that in class, but they pay for it.
Somebody cut me a check, please.
So anyway, we as actors, depending on what your goal is, that's what you challenge yourself on. Now, I'm going to use you as an example.
Okay.
You're a beautiful, articulate woman. I can see when I look in your eyes, there's a spark of intelligence. There's an aliveness there. And if someone were to ask you to just be you, you probably could do it, except What would end up happening is that you'd be wondering, what is it they wanted me for? You know, am I going to be able to be the me they want to see?
Yeah.
When you're training as an actor, your attention is so totally on your need. Like, I need you to like, just know how happy I am here. That's a simple need, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all I need. It's all I want. So when we as actors focus on that need, then our attention goes off of ourselves and it goes on to the person who contains that special thing that we need. Yeah. So for the whole time that you and I might be working together, I wouldn't be thinking about how I look, even though I'm sure I'm looking okay. But I would be trying to see if you're giving me the need, the same way that you would if there was a sadness in your life and a friend came up to you. You're not thinking about yourself. Yeah. You're thinking about, what can I do? What can I say? What can I do to make you okay? Yeah. And then we're there, we're present. And that's what acting should be. And that's the kind of acting that I look at. And then there's money acting, like Danny Glover, when he was doing all those different shows, Lethal Weapons and stuff, he's really an artist. And he said to me that I do Lethal Weapon so that I can do this movie. You see, there's a thing that if they're gonna hire you because you're pretty, take the money, please. Take it. You know, we'll go to dinner. I mean, you ain't gotta take me to dinner. You know, just let me know that you got it so I can celebrate you. But there's jobs that we do as actors because we're a thing that they need. Yeah. That's great. Take it, use it. Then there's jobs we do as actors because our soul requires more. Like, yeah, I can date somebody who looks good, and that can be that. But if I date somebody who I love, I don't care how they look. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. There's an inner thing.
You're dropping these quotables. Okay. These quotables.
I'll stop.
There's so many. Oh my God.
I'll stop. When you get old, you get lots of quotables.
You get the quotables. So one thing we actually do on Paths is Path quotables, right? A tweet, Instagram, a Facebookable statement.
Oh, nice.
And so if you could look at the camera and tell a student, you know, one-liner, what would it be?
Write the check to. Okay, I'm kidding.
Hey, baby.
Okay, I'll be serious. One of the things that is really important in my studio and in my life is the concept of failing forward. Now, when you look at like the greats, like a Michael Jordan or someone, he'll talk to you and he'll say over and over again that he shot thousands and thousands and thousands of shots, and he's missed more shots than anybody. But he made the shot that counted when the time came. What he did was he learned failure is part of success. We get caught up in our ego so much that I don't want to fail, I don't want to look bad, but you got to have someplace you can go and somebody you can go to who loves you, no matter what. Like your mama, maybe, some of y'all. But anyway, you like your mama. She's going to love you and forgive you no matter what. The art will love and forgive you too. So the quote that we use is failing forward. We fail in order to move forward. It's like having a cake recipe and somebody forgot to tell you one ingredient and you keep on tasting that cake. And then you're like, it's the same, right? You know, mama's cake was better than this. And then your sister will say, well, mama put some sugar in hers. And you're like, oh, that's the missing ingredient. In our acting work, the missing ingredient is always going to be us. Yeah. It's always going to be how to bring ourselves to the work. And the only way to do that is like the same thing as when you're at the gym. You work till you have failure. And then you work on something else till you have failure. Yeah. And the body grows. The art grows that way too. So in the studio, you ain't got to come in here and floss. You know, even if you floss, and I'm going to make a joke. You know, because we got to have fun. Yeah. So we got to fail forward. That's what I think.
I love that. So you talk about continuing your learning and constantly, you know, attempting and trying new things and new techniques. Mm-hmm. So what's something that you're attempting or learning right now?
Wow. Man, you good.
You know what I'm saying? Tell them to pay me more.
You know what I work on? I work on acceptance. I work on self-acceptance and how the things I used to run from, you can't run from yourself. So I'm finding new ways of being truthful with my work. I'm also always trying to go deeper into what is really happening. Like as an actor, the scene may be very simple, but as an artist, you've got to find the components in the scene that are heart, wrenching that make you want to fight for it.
Yeah.
You know, you see little boys, little girls, and they be together, and they will fight. You know, little 4 and 5 year olds, because that's my friend. You know,
Yeah.
and then grown people, we do other things that are equal to that, but a lot of times we just give up. We say, no, you don't want me. You know, that's how it is. As an artist, you're always looking for the deepest meaning behind what you're doing. And I have created, as I think we all do, I've created places that I ain't gonna go there. You can't pay me enough to go there.
Yeah.
And then you look at a performance like Andrade, you know, in Billie Holiday movie. Every single scene she does, whether she's just talking to the man or putting on her stockings, she is alive. It's important how she does those things. So I'm trying to let myself go to the places that I need to go to, not for the camera, not for the studios, but for myself. Because when all is said and done, actors are like McDonald's hamburgers. You know, okay, and I don't care. Y'all can be mad at me. This is how I feel.
No, they last forever.
Think about 3 years ago, who was the most important actor, the most important film?
The most important actor.
In the most important film.
In the most important film.
3 years ago.
3 years ago? You know,
That's what it's like. Don't nobody remember who you are.
you put me on the spot. I think all of you are important.
And you are.
3 years ago.
No, for sure.
All your movies was lit.
No. But my point isn't that people are not important. My point is that we have a very short memory. And the moment that we live in, the 5 minutes of fame, if it destroys the next 5 years of your life, it isn't worth it. Now, the 5 minutes that we have, that we use,
Yeah.
that changes lives itself. So we as individuals, you know, there's an Angie Bassett, there's a Marilyn Monroe, there's, you know, these people, but each generation creates its own. And what makes my moment in time important is what I add to the palette, what I add that I need. Because if God has said, and I believe in God, I live in God, I know God.
Yeah.
If God says, Victor, I gave you this because you're supposed to share it, you're supposed to give it away.
Yeah.
You're supposed to hide it, you know? Like Obama became a president and they did all kinds of things to him. That man fought to share his gift. And then he got beat up, you know, by it. Now history's gonna say something different. But I think that we as actors have got, me as an actor, I do what's important to me because this is the only moment I have. And when I'm gone, my family may remember me, my students may remember me. But you know, we throw things away. We don't value what's going on with other, you know, in the industry.
Yeah.
I value me. I value my students, who some of them are my best friends. And I want them to have the kind of lives based on the gifts that God has given them. So that, I ain't crying, it was perspiration.
Oh, it's okay. I make people cry.
Okay, good, yeah. So I want them to have lives that have value, you know? I want them to have lives where they are brave enough and strong enough to take these gifts they have and to change that moment in time. So that when they look back, they can go, yeah, I messed up. I fell down. People said this and that. But when it all came back together, it made a package that I was able to share my experiences so that you don't have to go through them. I don't even know if I answered your question.
You did. You answered all my questions.
Oh, do I?
Yep. And so my next question, you talk about maximizing the moments, right? And making sure we're alive in those moments. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about a moment in your career where you failed and you didn't seize the moment? And how did you navigate out of that moment? Because failing forward had to, it starts with failing.
There have been so many of them.
Yeah.
When I was 24, 23, I was hired to play the role of Othello.
Okay.
At 23. But I thought I was it. Hell, I can speak that, put out the light. That's a line from Othello, because y'all don't mess with my lights. Yeah, or her lights. Okay, so we say, and I got the job, right?
Yeah.
Then I got this audition for this movie called Native Son. And I'm like, what the hell is this? You know, supposed to be some black book, some novel. But I pretended like I knew it, you know. So anyway, I auditioned, and I was doing, the reason I mentioned Othello is I was doing it so I was in shape.
Yeah.
I flew to New York from Cleveland, I did the audition, I left, they called us, they wanted to see me again. I read with one of the actresses from Beloved, no, that wasn't Beloved, from Color Purple,
Okay.
Akuswa Busia. I read with her, and Akuswa she's like Robbie, she's British, you know, we had that kind of thing. And I was so much paying attention to her that I was not paying attention to my script. And I did the audition and I still got the role. Then they called me up and told me that they had decided to go with someone different.
Yeah.
They decided to go with Courtney Vance. I love Courtney Vance, I love Angie Bassett, you know, they're a couple, they're married.
I didn't know.
Oh, they married, they've been married for a while. Yeah, a good couple, good people. I'll tell you more later.
Tell me about it later.
They're good people. But he got the role. And Courtney turned the role down because he was doing Fences on Broadway for the first time. And I remember that when I got the role, all the talk around town, and I'm sure it's the same way with a lot of people, everybody that I knew was auditioning for this role. And everybody was saying who was going to get it and who was, you know, like, I went to lunch with one of my friends and she said, "You hear about that movie Native Son?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "You know who's gonna get it, don't you?" And I'm like going, like, you know.
She about to say me. She about to say me.
And she said, "They're gonna give that to Ving Rhames." And I was like, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." I believed it. I believed Ving was gonna get it. And I thought at that moment, I'm gonna get this damn role. I'm gonna get this role and I'm gonna let all of them, y'all can delete this, niggas. Y'all can let them. y'all can let them know, and I'm gonna tell them personally.
Yeah.
Y'all can kiss my ass.
Yeah.
You know, you have overlooked me. I have had to fight for everything I got. I wasn't one of the kids from New York. You know, I was too well spoken. All this. I said, when I get this, y'all gonna kiss my ass. I remember that feeling so powerfully. And I was auditioning and I was ready. And then they told me I didn't have it. And so I went into my room and I cried. And I said, "God, why? Why would you bring me so far and then take it away?" And I cried and I cried. I mean, God, I don't think I've felt that much pain. Oh, it's a moment. And then I believe I heard in my inner self, "What were you going to do when you got it?" And I remember thinking, I was going to tell them people to kiss my ass. You laugh, go ahead, laugh. It was serious at the moment.
Wow.
Okay. And
wow.
I thought,
never thought of that.
I said, thank you. I said, "Thank you, God,
For not giving that to
for
me.
not giving it to me." Because see, I was going to be that who's going to go out there and, you know, y'all see.
You weren't gonna do the David and be like, "My brothers, y'all good. Y'all sold me into slavery, but y'all good." You was gonna be like,
Hell to the no. I was going to lock them Negroes down in the basement, and for 7 years, I was going to forget they butts.
You was gonna get the famine and everything. Be with the bed, man.
And I prayed, and what came out of the prayer was, it's okay to dream big, and it's okay to cry out all your tears, but that's why you're here. Dream big dreams. The next morning, I got a phone call saying that they had made a decision and they wanted me to play the role again. And I knew that I had learned the lesson from that experience.
Yeah.
You see, my failing forward meant to recognize where I was in the moment, you know, emotionally and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then to take responsibility for it, and then to ask for forgiveness and to make a decision that I wouldn't be that guy. For me, that was one of the biggest moments of my life, because I had so many opportunities to be an asshole on purpose. I was an asshole not on purpose, lots of times. But, and that's probably why I'm sitting here, because I could have done a lot of things to move ahead. And I was afraid. I knew what it was like to live in that darkness and to live in that place where I'm using a gift somebody gave me to hurt people.
Wow.
You see, that's just me. That's just me.
No.
On the other side of it too is probably just cowardice. You know, I was just afraid. I didn't know what was out there. So that's Failing Forward. Failing Forward is a studio here. Failing Forward is not, when we first started, I had maybe 2 students. One of your producers, Christian, was one of my students. And I met him and thought, he is so talented.
Yeah.
But, I'm putting your business out there, Christian.
Feel free to.
It's on your path.
Yeah. He ain't had no money.
Paths. In paths, you can be poor. You can be poor on your path. You can be poor on your path sometimes.
But somehow I made my way.
Okay, excuse me. Excuse me, this is my interview, y'all. Okay. He ain't had no money. But what he had? He had heart,
Yeah.
he had talent, and he had truth. He was like, I don't have that. I don't have it. I said, I remember just looking at him and thinking, but you're so good. You're so good. And so we created, he and I and this lady created a class on Thursday mornings. And it was like, he was sitting there, he was my class, And the studio grew from that. Then I had hitches in it, but every time I would fall down, and I've fallen down a lot, there would be someone from that moment, like a Christian or somebody say, Vic, can you just do it one more time? Can you bring the studio back one more time? And I would say, okay. And then I learned.
So speaking of your students,
Yes.
who is a student? Speaking of your students, what is one actor that you would love to visit the studio and potentially work with that you haven't worked with already?
There are so many people out there who are amazing. Amazing.
Yes.
And I could not narrow it down. It would probably depend on what we were doing.
Okay.
But Morgan Freeman, he played my father in a play, a reading in New York. And I remember just like, it's like somebody, like the light is so bright, you're like this, I remember feeling that way about his work. It was so effortless. There's a whole new generation of people out there right now. A lot of them you don't know and I don't know because they're working their way up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We need to find one actor, one person. You're like, hey, I would love this person to be in the studio.
Well, you know what? I would love Janelle Monáe to come back and be in the studio to share her ups and downs, her courage, her confidence, her belief in a higher power and in a mission. You see, I remember working with her, and on the first couple of films she did, Moonlight, is that right?
Yes.
And the Hidden Figures. Yes, I remember us working on those. And I remember, we worked on many things before that too, but I remember she had a work ethic that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. We would get in there, and I was charging a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of money that if you offered it to me today, I would do some things, I mean, it was money. And she would work for hours on hours. And I remember going into class and saying, I have a new student. I didn't know who she was at the time.
Got you.
Everybody else knew. I just was in old school. And I said, I've never met anyone in my life who works that hard for an audition, who works that hard. And who, one of the things that she says that I just find amazing, she's living in the present, but from the future is where her consciousness comes from.
Yeah.
You see, so she's not doing anything that's just for today. She's for the future. I would love her to share her presence with people, like one-on-one.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so many people for different reasons that I'm in awe of, that I love, that have things that I ain't got that kind of work ethic,
So let's talk about it, right? there's a student who's watching who does not know when to engage an acting coach or when to go to an acting class. A lot of people believe you only go to an acting class to learn different acting techniques. I think I heard you say you've worked with actors in terms of certain gigs or movies that they've gotten.
Yeah.
What are the different services that you can kind of leverage from an acting coach?
One of the first things that, as an acting coach, I want them to recognize is that we are here in service of the script.
Okay.
Now, somebody can spend years writing a script, writing the words, deciding whether they're going to say to the movie or to a movie, or, those little words mean something to someone.
Yeah.
And so we are here in service of the script.
Gotcha.
And what we do is we have to bring that script to life by using us. I used to say, the character is on the page, but he doesn't live until we give him permission to use our soul.
Wow.
You've seen animals or people pass away, and there's a life inside of them. And then when that last breath comes, it's just still. So there's something that we have that gives life.
Yeah.
And I would say to them, there's a technique to create this. And the technique is to work in service of the role, to understand what's going on. And so there's an analysis that they have to get. Simple stuff. I mean, seriously. You can make it difficult and keep them in class for 3 and 4 months if you want to, but but it's simple stuff.
Yeah.
Then I would tell them they have to know how to access the parts of themselves that make each script come alive. And they've got to tell the truth. So being in an acting studio, you get a chance to be like on a team where there's a guy who's always going to be the best.
Yeah.
But there's a guy who you look at him now, you don't see it, but because he has a model to work on, he's going to follow in the footsteps. That's why an acting studio is important. And an acting studio is important because you're saying out loud, I want to get better. You're saying by attending that I know that there's no end point for me. I'd say that to actors who are serious. Now, there are actors who think they want to be a model in front of the camera.
Yeah.
They want to look good. I'd say for those people, go and learn how to do that. Each person who comes to me has a dream. And when we can solidify what that dream is, then I, as an acting coach, can help them get there.
Yep.
The biggest thing, though, for people who may be watching, is if there's a dream inside of you that motivates you, that fills every moment of your life, that dream is meant to come true. And there are shortcuts to a little cake, like a little cupcake.
Yeah.
And there's the long road to the feast. Roots have to grow deep to create a strong tree. And if you plant a seed and it comes up next season in March, that plant's probably meant to die after that time comes. But roots create something. Fires that burn too fast burn out. So you want to take the time to create and to heal, and you got to have courage. It's a very, what's that? It's a grandiose, it's a fantastic, it's what it looks like. Red carpets and, famous people that all know each other. But the reality of it is it's just like you and me living here.
Yeah.
And if you can't find that peace in yourself, it ain't gonna be there. So, get in touch with all that stuff. Robin Williams didn't die because he didn't make it. There's lots of people who we've lost. Not because they didn't make it, because at the end of the rainbow, there wasn't nothing there. I was gonna say shit.
Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah, sorry.
But
Sorry.
I was gonna play around.
I hope y'all like 18 and up or whatever, or pretend to be.
What are you seeing that's new in acting classes that you have to adjust to? And so I say that because we had a global pandemic, right? And so students, for some studios, they're not able to come in person. What are some of those nuances you're learning in this virtual acting world?
Wow. Truth is always going to be truth, whether it's on the screen or in the studio or not.
Okay.
That's the thing, that the work is always the work. You know, whether you're able to go to class or you can't go to class, there's work that you do.
Yeah.
My studio shut down for a month, and we went online. And by being online, I realized that if I do the same things online that I do in the studio,
Yeah.
it's the same studio. It's a different
Medium.
the medium. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a different medium. And so when you're on Zoom or whatever, you learn that there are certain things you do on Zoom that have to do with eye contact, that have to do with operating from an inner place.
Yeah.
And that emotion, no matter what medium you're in, is the thing that breaks through. My mind will tell me, hell no, I ain't gonna listen to this. But my heart doesn't have that permission. My heart's gonna feel it, and then my mind will say, shut that down, dog. Shut that down. But my mind will just like not even let it in. So we as actors, in all the mediums, at least the way I see acting,
Yeah.
is that we are approaching everything from that feeling place. If you feel it, I'm gonna feel it. You see, so I think that's what the medium, what I've learned. And I've also learned how much I love it. You know, when you can't do it, when you don't see your family every week.
Yeah.
The pandemic has been a sad blessing.
Yeah.
We weren't able to go to the theater, to the movies, you know. We weren't able to do a lot of things that we normally do.
People weren't even dropping movies like
I
that.
know, and there's but the bottom line is we were still creating, those of us who were creators.
Yeah. Did you see an influx of students? Like people who, you know, may have found the acting itch during the pandemic and was like, I need to get in this class.
I don't know, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because people like the students I have now who are doing so well,
Yeah.
that we have an influx of students. And now that the pandemic is over, like today I got 4 phone calls about people who want to join the studio. The studio's full
Yeah.
right now. In the last month, I've gotten 2 new classes of new people.
Yeah.
And that's not because of anything that's not because of me. They don't know me, but they watch the students. So I think that we've just been learning how important our discipline is and how important our dreams are. And just because we have a year where we don't get a chance to be out there,
Yeah.
there ain't nothing. You know, no, check it out. People are like, I wish I could be auditioning. And I'm in my mind, this is evil, evil thinking here. In my mind, I'm like, you wasn't getting hired, no way. You know, pandemic or no, you wasn't getting hired. But why are you gonna make it a big deal now?
Yeah.
If you do the work will suffice you. Is that a good word? The work will fill you.
Yeah.
The work will make you feel good.
So Victor, what questions are you asking yourself right now?
I'm asking myself, am I being too goofy? I'm asking myself, I'm surprised at the passion that I'm feeling. I was asking myself if I'm being helpful, if I'm trying to be funny, or if that's just how I am. You know, there's a judgment Victor who's going through stuff.
Yeah.
Why? What are you asking yourself right now?
Right now? Oh my goodness. I'm asking myself why God chose me for this particular opportunity or this moment in time.
What are those possibilities?
The possibility to talk to people in an entertainment industry. I have no, like, to me, I'm like, I have no understanding. Like, Joe, you haven't taken acting classes. You haven't, people like your voice. They're like, oh, you should do voice acting, da 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 da. And it's just like, JL, are you in tune with your calling and how all these things maybe grow from that moment, right? Like, are you being present enough in the moment and not thinking about like how you don't feel qualified as somebody who could sit here and ask great actors, casting directors, coaches, these questions? Like, stop focusing on that voice. Are you really silencing that voice and being present in the moment to say, hey, like, let me be a true sponge.
That's lit. I love it.
Yeah, and so I think the questions I'm asking myself is like, okay, so after this jail, also, after these moments, how are you continuing the relationship right? Like God says he whispers in your ear. He's whispering. And at this point, all day, all 3 days of set, he's been yelling. He's been like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yes.
And so I'm asking myself, like, JL, like, you really be scared, yo. And why are you so scared to venture into things that are like your passion?
That's all. You see, that's so human.
Yeah.
That's so human. And we don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about, I'm scared of this, Vic. You know, my boys and my really good friends do. And you know you're good friends with somebody when they'll say that to you. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
You see, but we're in a society that does not know how to grow into that. We expect everybody to come out and just be it right away.
Yeah.
The questioning, I think, is really important because it makes you look for answers. You
Yeah.
see? And
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's like, am I ready, Lord? Like, what does that equipment look like? Am I prepared for the moment? Because in the past, right, I'm a straight A student. I went to Howard University. You know what I'm saying? Like, top of my class, like, great in technology, and technology is everywhere right now.
Yeah.
So I'm used to, like, you know, winning. And I don't know what that rejection would do to me. With that level, all those multiple rejections, or, hey, we decided to go another way. You know, you're getting so excited.
Yeah. But you know,
that seemed like so, I don't know about that roller coaster.
But see, what acting teaches those who learn is that when one door closes, it's because there's another one that you were supposed to go through.
Yeah.
You see, like when I was getting sober, you know, when I told you about, you know, the crazy times.
Yes.
Okay, so we didn't get specific, and we don't need to. But my brother, I was going for a job interview at a restaurant. I had applied at McDonald's. I had applied every place.
Let's talk about it, because some people think you just go into acting and you're an actor and you're an acting coach. They don't know about the security jobs, the waitress job, waiter jobs, none of that.
Well, I went to New York in college and I got a waiter job. I was actually a waiter in California at this spaghetti factory. And it was so exciting, you know. And my mama came in and I was able to give her some spaghettis, different kinds of spaghetti. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But from that, I learned how to become a waiter. And the waitering jobs always paid my way. And then I became a better waiter at higher places. So when I decided to go into drugs, because I thought it was the thing to do, I thought all these people are doing it. Instead of me looking at the success stories that don't make the headlines.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you're a success and you're just a nice person, don't nobody know who you are usually. You know, they find out who you are because you done ran over somebody, you know, you having another baby mama, you know, they don't really know.
That's
and so
true.
when I was looking at things, I was like, maybe that's the way to go. Maybe, you know, so when I did go and I lost a lot and I learned a lot. I had to find a job to get into this sober place because I had no place else to go. And they would give you 30 days to find a job. And if you didn't find a job, they would kick you out. And plus, you couldn't use drugs. And so I had gone to McDonald's. I had gone to every little place I could go to apply for a job. And I had done film and TV and everything by this point. And then one day, I applied at the best restaurant in the South, in Southern California, in Redondo Beach. I said, what the hell? Everybody else is saying no. Let them say no too.
Yeah.
And my brother, I called him on my interview and he said, Victor, God has opened the door for you. All you got to do is walk through it. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
I truly believe that we need to shop for life the way we shop for clothes. Try it. If it don't fit, try something else. Yeah. And actors need to, actors are just people who can take what that has no place, that has no form, and give it life. That's what we as actors do. So we have got to learn that we can't fail unless we stop. You see, if you stop, you ain't gonna fail. But who wants to stop?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. There you have it, Victor Love, y'all. On Pass, y'all. I'm so excited that we got to have you. I want to say here, but here is yours. So I'm so excited that you had us here, to have you here again.
Oh, God is good.
And I see the manifestation of just talent, beauty that you're going to produce in all things.
Wow. Don't hold me to that, but I do like hearing it right now.
I know it's happening. It's happening right now. I'm over here having chills.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, of all the people that you could have had,
Yeah.
y'all must have run out of people, and you had me.
No, not at all.
It's all right. It's all right. You know,
He's the top of the list.
I really don't care. I'm here. I done got jobs because other folk turned them down, and they paid the rent. So, but no, really, thank you.
No,
thank
I'm
you so
so
much.
excited.
Thanks all of you.
Thank you for
Right,
giving
right.
us this moment. Y'all, my name is J.L. Benjamin, and there you have it on Paths. Victor Love, y'all. Thank you.
I love it when you could